Okay, well, you know what? I don't even know if this video, if I'm gonna, I don't think so. Excuse me. I don't think I'm gonna actually get to the moves for the Special Core 1, just due to the fact I wrote so much when I decided to do the recap that based on inadvertently Charles's suggestion when he was like, "What the hell? You've lost me. I don't know what the heck's going on anymore." And I went, "Hey, wait a minute. You're right. I mean, I was thinking even on a side note afterwards, I was like, my God, I watch Dad versus Sons videos and he does a flippin' recap every single turn. And he posts every single day. And, you know what I mean? Like, there's massive breaks between my, excuse me, my videos, especially for the sectors. And it's like, for myself too, it's like, what the heck's going on? Hold on, I gotta go get my drink. Excuse me. And before I get to that, I'm going to say that one thing I love doing is going to thrift stores. We don't have enough around here, sadly. And going to find or looking for board games that are missing like lots of pieces, but may have pieces that will be, you know, useful for other games. Anyways, they had a Risk game there, and based on the look of it, it was only $5. Based on the look, the pieces were in baggies, and it didn't look like it was played very much, but I went, okay, even if it was only played once or whatever, just based on the, excuse me, just based on the fact that they were in baggies, I was like, okay, good chance that this person seems to be a bit considerate with their parts. It looks like they're just missing the dice. I guess it's supposed to come with 7 dice, but it only has 2. Mind you, they're really. I don't like square corners. I know they're the proper dice. You go to Las Vegas, whatever. I love rounded dice. However, these have got these funky little. I don't know what you call it. Swirly bits. They're really cool. I just don't like square dice. I like square corners or sharp corners, but. This blew me away. I didn't notice that until I got home. Oh my God, am I ever glad I picked this game up? I was like, oh, what the heck, $5. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If that doesn't have Der Weltkrieg written out, like written all over it for me, it's not funny. I was like, oh my God. Like, you've got to be joking. So I just, yeah, that lost my marbles. I mean, I'm not going to probably use that, but boy, that'll be good for miniatures, man. For some of my oh my God. I'm just like, Jesus. Anyways, thank you, thank you. Oh, and also I picked up a couple of books, boy. If you're into Napoleonics, World War II, or the American Civil War right now, my God, you would love to go to my thrift store. It was just loaded with those. But I did pick up 2 John Keegan books. I really like his World War I book. Really, really enjoy that one. And he had one called Faces of Battle or something that has 3 battles in it. One was with the Somme, and I was like, oh my God. I looked inside and it looks wicked. If it's a similar writing style to his World War I one, I'm going to enjoy it. And then they also had one from his thing for the American Civil War, which I don't know. I know very little about. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this, if like I said yet again, if it's a similar style, this is probably going to be a good way for you to get into understanding bits and pieces of the American Civil War. Anyways, so let's get to the, I guess essentially would be at first the Northwest Front, and then the First Army with Special Corps 1. That's what we're going to do a recap with. Okie dokie. So here we go, and there's a hell of a lot of notes, man. A hell of a lot of notes. But that's the way it goes. So, what do I have to say though? Oh yeah, and I'm certainly would like to do this recaps for all of them. So when I start yabbering now, there are going to be bits of the Second Army near Warsaw and the 10th Army. Well, no, not really. So what am I saying? I'm thinking about the 9th Army for Germany here. But the Second Army, because they're part of the... remember, this is going to be Russia's perspective, even though we're looking at it from the German side kind of thing. Is that... excuse me. Yeah, so it'll be the Northwest Front. But the Second Army, even though we're not going to be talking about it a lot, it does have... What happens to them initially in this game ends up framing what ends up happening quite a bit for the First Army. So here we go. So the characters involved. I'll get the little sheets out so you can see who the hell we're talking about. They're just a Wikipedia thingamabobs, but the first guy. Where are you son of a bee? I had you. I just had you a second ago, for crying out loud. Ivanov. Oh, Samsonov. Where are you? Where's the other guy? Rosenshield. Flug. Rennenkampf. Ivanov. Samsonov. And I just had Zelensky somewhere. Where are you, Zelensky, you son of a bitch? Oh man, did I leave you in the thing? No. Well, god darn it. Where did you go? Well, maybe we won't. Anyways, I'm not going to start running up and down and all around looking for him. Chutes and ladders. I wonder what happened. Did he get stuck, double stuck, or... No, it doesn't look like it. No, there's Flug, Rosenshield. Okay. He's got a beard. Anyways, so Zelensky in charge of Northwest Front. And what's under him? The First Army and the Second Army. And the way First Army, Rennenkampf. This dude. And Second Army, Samsonov. That dude. And in my world, initially, they did do what historically was happening. First Army went towards... well, maybe I should just read my notes as well. Yep, the game started out along historical lines in that Rennenkampf's First Army marched west towards Königsberg, and the Second Army under Samsonov proceeded northwest from Warsaw with the aim of both armies meeting up south of Königsberg and both armies bypassing the Masurian Lakes region to get there. So it was down, I don't know if I should try to, yeah. Because it does have an impact. I'll try to be mellow. So right there is where both of them tried to, bypass this historically. And I think, anyways, how did it go? I think historically... I'll have to check again what would be there. But anyways, this is where the bad stuff happens. You'll find out in a minute. Hold on. So, well, anyways, that's the Masurian Lakes, as you know. So that's what we're bypassing. Hold on. Get away from there. There we go. I just want to How's that? I think that's good. All right. Let's get back to note taking and not getting sidetracked, because that's what's happening. My mind's going up, down, and all around. All right. So unfortunately for the Second Army, and that's where I was going to start talking about, things went wrong almost from the start as a naively unsupplied attack on German troops just across the border north of Warsaw, which saw the Germans defend across excellent defensible terrain and fully supplied for a counterattack. Yeah, that was me just not cluing in. I thought, oh gee, I've got an opportunity here, and yeah, lesson learned. But that ended up framing what ends up happening later on. That kind of just killed a heck of a lot of the impetus of Second Army. Like I had to slow down with them and so on and so forth. And by then, the Germans started just pouring troops in towards Warsaw, and that was the end of that. And basically for the well, like I said, we're not supposed to be talking about the Second Army. We will in a bit later on. So where am I now? Yeah, and like I said, because with this will end up happening, like ending up part of why Special Corps 1 ends up popping up. All right, so basically what ends up happening is that Rennenkampf and the First Army are essentially left by themselves, and they realize basically the only thing that they can rely on is going to be sporadic reinforcements and supply coming from Kovno or Grodno. Basically, there's no army coming anymore. And things, maybe I'm going to just not read my notes. And I think I've got them. Yeah, let's just go with that and see. I think maybe that's a bit better. And if I miss, I miss. Yeah, I'll just look at the notes and we'll go. I mean, I'll look at the map. I think that's much better for me. So anyways, and at the beginning, Rennenkamp's First Army, things are going fantastic. They were almost unopposed, like I said at first. And then the Germans started bringing more and more troops, which slowed the First Army out, because they had to like start dealing with not just, you know, one attack here or one attack, like they had a lot of issues to deal with. That slowed them down. Then they lost their artillery piece, and they were close. I think they were like easily within 2 hexes. I think they were here. I'm pretty darn sure. Like, I was getting awfully damn close. Well, why the hell do you think? Oh no, I'm sorry. What am I saying? I'm looking over here at the line, the front line, the new front line. I think they were here. Well, obviously you can see there's a cut freaking rail line. So they were that close to Königsberg, for crying out loud. And then they lost their artillery piece. And then my goof up here is what ended up happening. So if we're going to go back into narrative land, unfortunately for Rennenkamp's First Army, the Germans were able to bring some cavalry north of the Niemen and start threatening the lines of communication, supply, you name it, for the First Army. And so Rennenkamp decided to shorten his line. Like, he just contracted. They were way out over here. And he just contracted, brought as many people as he could in here, sacrificed whatever divisions he could to still, I mean, the Germans were still pressing, like starting to mount a counterattack or a counteroffensive or whatever the heck you want to call it, like pushing them back. And Rennenkamp decided, okay, I'm going to like use his little divisions as, but he had no cavalry left. That was the problem. And like I said before, you're trying to, like I said, I just always have that vision of, I think it's in Rocky 3 there, where he's trying to chase chickens to develop his speed there in a Russian farm. And it's like, forget it, you're never going to catch him. Same thing with trying to, you know, catch cavalry. I mean, yeah, with infantry, it's just not going to work in this big, wide open world. So it wasted tons of time, and by that time there was supply sitting here in Kovno, but they couldn't get anywhere because they were being harassed by German cavalry. And it week in, week out, it started building and building, to the point where in my world it was like, okay, Zelensky contacted Ivanov, this guy, another dude with a beard, who was in charge of Southwest Front, and asked him to send some cavalry support, which I had this big, huge, long plan, a big, long turn showing up how long it would take, like close to a month for the quickest route for the Cossacks to get up here, and, you know, to navigate all the freaking rivers and lakes and woods that are through here. It's just a flipping nightmare. And they were going to get there, and then the next turn, probably because I don't do recaps, completely forgot, and ended up assigning the Cossacks that were supposed to go up here to the Third Army near the Bug River front around Lemberg. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? How do I connect this to the narrative? And I went, well, you know what? In real life, I don't think Ivanov and Zelensky were like best of pals. And so why wouldn't Ivanov say, you know what, I've got to protect my own interests? And so at the last minute, guess what? They're not showing up. So Zelensky's ticked, obviously, and starts pulling a few this, that, and the others, trying to get some people in, and eventually they do. So the last 2 turns, I've seen some reinforcements arrive, including 2 divisions of cavalry. Last turn, the Guard Cossacks last turn, and this turn, the 4th Don Cossacks. Like, of course, it was already put in the books, but I'm just saying, like, let's play with the narrative, for crying out loud. Then, remember, this is taking nearly a month now. Supply's been sitting here, nothing's happened. Like, in other words, both Renenkamp and Zelensky, way up wherever the hell he is, both know people are starting to talk. Fingers are going to start being pointed. Someone needs to take the blame. And in my world, Ivanov, who's got obviously a lot more resources available, he's not on the front line for crying out loud, says, you know what, I'm going to make a preemptive strike here. Removes a corps without informing Renenkamp, forms Special Corps 1, assigns them with the special task of getting this flippin' supply to the Prego riverfront as soon as possible, aka, see, I'm doing something, everyone. It's not my fault. See, look how I'm trying to do everything, as well as you're also showing by that action in a weirdo way that you had to do this. You had to kind of like chop the guy out from under his knees because he was doing such a shitty job. You know what I mean, kind of thing. So, anyways, so that started that. And remember, that was not supposed to happen with this unfortunate German cavalry, but let's leave it at that. So now you've got Renenkamp pissed off at his superior Zelensky, probably and here's the new dude, Anatoly Rosenshield, who was just a lieutenant general, lieutenant general, commander of a division, the 27th Division, and he was the nearest division around here, and it just so happened to be, like, I just wanted to pick him up as a narrative. Then when I looked him up, historically, the guy's got more freaking amazing accolades than you can shake a stick at. He was like instrumental in saving the First Army's bacon once, but twice, like on the second time with the Masurian Lakes, so getting these buggers out, like it was just like, holy F, man. Like anyways, good choice, but it was a choice that just came out of nowhere. It was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like I was like, wow, stars in alignment or what? So he becomes the new commander, newly promoted to Special Corps 1. I've been waiting to do this special thing which will happen this turn. Oh, I can't wait. So he's Mr. No Nonsense, but like I said, Renenkamp's probably a bit jealous and pissed off as well that, he's also getting a lot more attention towards, people that can pull strings for you. The guy's got in charge of a corps, but I'm pretending that Rosenshield's just the Mr. No Nonsense. Look, I just want to get this effing job done and done properly because I just got promoted to something. I don't want to screw it up. So there we go. And last turn, they finally managed with these newly arrived infantry divisions, which I left on rail purposely just in case if I have to like zip them off, which I'm going to do, and didn't do it with the cavalry because they've got a bit more movement, and they're not allowed to do the 1/10. Diddly dee. Yeah, so yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. So anyways, they managed to surround, I think it's the German 6th Cavalry last turn, and they have slowly driven them away. At least remember, the German cavalry were all over the flipping place. So at least they've slowly driven them away from here. This turn they will finally manage to get the supply to the headquarters, but will not be able to be used because they both got moved, so something like that. But anyways, you get the idea. So there we are. That I think is what you're seeing, is the First Army is desperately waiting for supply, has hunkered down, yet again has tried to consolidate forces as much as possible, lost a position here, but like I said, are still trying to just hunker down. And these are 3 spots that are potential pocketed areas or surrounding areas of Germans. And I'm going to try to move this newly the Special Corps 1, which were tasked to secure the supply and bring it over to here. And then with these new reinforcements, most of them will be assigned to First Army for obvious reasons. I'm not going to have a corps commander with like tons and tons of people. I think he's only going to get the Guard Cossacks, and everybody else, the 50th, the 6th Siberian from last turn, last turn they're going to the 1st Army, and these guys are all going to 1st Army. And this guy's already been assigned to Special Corps 1. It's just these 3 guys. So there you go. I think that's pretty good of a recap, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see.